All right, today we got a special guest on Wet Your Palate. We've got Dave Kuba. He works in all things really reality TV. I was trying to remember the word that he described it as. Unscripted. That's it.
Unscripted.
And it's a
You can say reality. We've come back around.
Okay. I know.
He's keeping reality real, dude.
You got to change it once in a while. Keep it fresh. I get it. But no, the stories we went through today, thank you for opening up about it. Talking about a number of things from your current shows, previous shows, wild times.
The Joe Wagner reality show coming soon. We're making a deal. We're in the creation of it. We're just spitballing right now. But
I like seeing Chris's eyes light up when I'm talking about Too Hot to Handle. He's definitely going home to watch that tonight.
Yeah.
No, Dave. Yo, you're right.
Well,
you know me so well.
Well, Dave, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Check out his current show, House of Villains, right now.
Please.
And just go back into time and enjoy the stuff that he has been providing as far as great entertainment for, at this point, generations, going on 3 at least.
We didn't even get to talk about my experience on The Apprentice with our current president, but that's a story for another time.
Oh, my God.
Wait, what?
So I did want to get into the psychology of this whole thing.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting, and I'm sure Dave knows a lot more about it than us. But and you had mentioned Cops, which since I was a kid, Cops was really the first kind of reality TV, but it wasn't reality. I mean, it was overly realistic, but you didn't have the back of house drama to kind of see where it ended up. It was just all of a sudden some criminal gets tackled, handcuffed, and there's cameras in their face, and then you kind of see some of that stuff, right? But it wasn't really, the storyline wasn't there. It was just you were waiting for that moment, right? And it was I was addicted to it. I loved watching it, but it seems like that psychology continued to carry forward. But I don't know what that psychology is. Is it just, are we wanting to live through other people's happiness and pain?
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody's a little bit of a voyeur, right? Like gossip. You hear about somebody you know and something that's going on behind closed doors, and you could either see yourself in people, or you're like, that person has a completely different worldview and a different personality than I do, and that's fascinating too. So I think it's just, people are interesting, and people are weird, and people are different, and sometimes truth is stranger than fiction in a way. We have such constraints in what we do in ways that people don't even. My wife's a scripted writer, and she's always like, I just say on the page, I want this to happen, and it does. You have this idea of what might happen, and then you got to actually react to what does happen, and then turn that into a story. Yeah. And sometimes it could just be nothing. I've had shoots where we go out and we're like, oh wow, this celebrity couple we shot, we sold them hard, and now we're here and they're boring. What can we do to make this less boring? We got to go into them and be like, hey guys, what if we do this or that? Or you have to think of ways to make regular people more interesting. I like competitions and formats where you find just great characters, and there's rules, and there's the gameplay, or there's whatever it is that naturally drives story. Instead of just we're going in most people's lives are not that interesting. Even celebrities are boring. So you end up, when you work on one of those shows, a lot of times it's you're only shooting for 3 weeks. So you're like, okay, catch me up on your life since we filmed last season. Well, we've been talking a lot about wanting to have a baby off camera. So now we're like, okay, well, what if you have any friends with kids? What if you went over to their house and played with their kid, and then that conversation comes up. You can have those conversations about whether you're ready again. So it's almost it's not as it doesn't flow as naturally, but a lot of times, even though you prompt them and they're talking about something they've already talked about, it becomes, it goes to new levels, or there's new parts of the conversation that you are there to capture. So a lot of the docu-series, which is people in their lives being followed, are a lot maybe more they're not scripted. They're just planned out in advance with the cast. more so, they're given more direction ahead of time, where like literally like on House of Villains, Joe McHale walks in and goes, "This is what you're doing today," and they're like, "Oh my god," they're really shocked, and then they gotta do this challenge, and then someone's in danger, and they know they have to, hey, you're gonna eliminate somebody later, see you later, and all this great stuff just naturally come. So I like things like that. I love going to work and not having any idea what's gonna happen, like being a little nervous, like, ooh.
So yeah, I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
So you have that element of it in kind of your favorite line of the work, where there's purpose behind it versus just purely voyeurism, and you're hoping to get something exciting for viewers to be voyeuristic. Whereas in this case, yeah, that makes a ton of sense, because I do prefer.
But still, like on House of Villains, like what's so interesting, like even though there's this crazy game format and all that, like some of our best stuff that we love putting in the show is just like how so-and-so makes their coffee in a very weird way, or how someone questions the way, how someone, their crazy hair routine that you're like, wow, that's crazy. And, it's funny and it's ironic. Like some of that stuff is interesting too. And you get that, like when people are living in the house together and you just capture those moments. The real world used to film for like 3 or 4 months. And they would edit that into the season. And the Osbournes, like the first big reality show with a celebrity family, same thing, filmed for 4 months. And they would take all the best stuff and they put it together and make a thing. Wow. As time went on and more of this happened and budgets went down, you needed to make the whole season in 3 weeks. And that involves a lot of everything has to happen now within our 12-hour filming window. Wow. So that added a lot of pressure. When you're on a show like Survivor, or House of Villains, Big Brothers, things like that, it happens all in 3 weeks. But a lot of things are happening naturally, because every 2 days there's an elimination, and every other day there's a challenge. It all drives story a lot quicker.
Wow, that's crazy. And I think we mentioned before was, well, I just want to touch on it again. Is with the game setup, there's nothing rigged. Right. I mean, like this is an actual game challenge. This is serious stuff when it comes down to the actual game elements, or
yeah. So yeah, even though it might not seem like serious stuff, ever since that movie Quiz Show years ago about the game show industry and people cheating. Whenever there's a prize on the line in any kind of like reality show, it's considered a game show, and there has to be like, you have to write up all these rules, have your lawyers look over them, have the network lawyers look over them. Then they hire standards and practices people who are on set who make sure you're not cheating or not giving anybody any unfair advantages. And so I have to submit all of my games and when I want to do them ahead of time. So people are like, oh, they did this because these 3 people are in. It's like, no, I submitted these like weeks before. And if I went in and was like, hey, we're going to change it, they go, why? And if I could say, like, if I give them a good reason that is, like, makes sense, or it's like, that's one thing if it's fair for everybody, but it can't just, it has to be like, why are we doing that? Is everybody okay with that? We read when the Joel or Jeff Probst or whoever, I've done other challenge shows, like, tells them, here are the rules for the challenge, go. They know we're going to stop down. These challenge producers would come out, read them all the rules, and 17 rules that the host never says, because it's like, if this happens, then this, and if this happens, then this, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, or you'll be disqualified. This is illegal. Okay, raise your right hand. Does anybody have any questions? We walk them through it. There's like 20 questions. Can we do this? Can I break it? No, you can't break the thing. You got to use it as is. All that kind of stuff. Raise your hand if you understand. No more questions. Sign this paper. Okay, we're ready to go. Like all of that happens. Whoa. It's crazy.
Well, I learned a couple new things on that one, man. That's wild. So yeah, it's what you're saying to the audience out there is that these are classified as game shows, and they got to be legitimate if there's prizes.
Yes,
more or less.
They have to be.
Yeah,
yeah. Because I could give my friend $1 million. Like I could give somebody I like $1 million if I was like rigging the shows. I don't know if we're supposed to do this, but like I did this show, I Love Money, which was like the flavor of love, rock of love, and I Love New York people. And on day one, we all set up a random draw where everybody got one member of the cast. And if you're a person, everybody put in like $20, and if you won, you win the whole pot. And the person I drew was in the final 3, and that show ended with a big race. And it was a big race that ended with a puzzle that everybody was putting together. And once your puzzle was done, the show was over. You won the whole show. That was the end of the show. There was a big relay race ending with a puzzle. I'm done. I win the show. Well, guess who's judging the final that puzzle? Like saying, you officially win, and telling the host to say you officially win. Me. And guess who was competing in it? I had money on the line in this thing. So I was like, I had some like excitement, and I was like, done, you win. And they were like, winner. And they're like, wait, no, her puzzle thing's backwards. And I was like, I got just too excited ahead of time, so we had to say stop, start again. She still won. She was far enough ahead that she was probably gonna win. I just got ahead of myself because I had some personal stakes and excitement.
You had some vested interest, man.
You're like, we win. You win. I mean,
You treat her like a race dog.
It's not like I was trying to influence the game throughout or do anything. There was no it was $20, but it was just kind of fun to, as crew, watch it and have a horse in the race we're rooting for. But obviously, still had to go through all those rules and the things, so there's possibly no way to make it in your favor, and this is why. But I did get a little too excited when I was calling the end of the race.
I mean, we put money on people within the company sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. You do?
I'm just hearing about this too. How do you put money on it? It's like,
he doesn't need to know
who's
going to
survive? Well, guess what? Whoever has money on me, I was an underdog, long shot, and I'm still here. So we're gonna get that money, baby. Chad, we're splitting the profits. You bet on me, right? You didn't bet on me, Chad? All right. I wish you could.
Chad's got something snarky to say.
That's crazy.
I want to see those odds, and
You want in?
Yeah.
I'll send you the odds. I'm telling you, man.
What would be the metric? Like sales or like?
I don't think that's sales.
It could just be a barrel race. I mean, you never know. It's
just just physical brute strength is what it comes down
Company
to.
field day, carrying barrels across
We've actually did. That's funny about that because we had
barrels.
We had a barrel race with some UFC fighters.
Yeah. And
they were tough, man.
We always tried to do some sports stuff too. Then with the whole company, God, what did we do? With the inflatable balls, we did that with soccer. So people were like knocking themselves all over the place. You had a guy break his rib. Some broken.
Those big giant ones.
Yeah.
He broke his back.
Yeah.
Broke his back.
Didn't it?
I've used those in a few things.
Yeah.
In challenges and stuff, huh? I've actually
Yeah.
never done one. I've always wanted to get one of those.
They're not all they're cracked up to be, man. Yeah.
I like this. I like finding out too, like how organic your current show House of Villains is. Like kind of hearing that behind the scenes compared to where there other might be shows. I guess so. First of all, let me clarify this. If there's prompts, if you have to go in and kind of prompt somebody, is that considered scripted? Instead of letting people just kind of run naturally on their characters, like in a challenge, say.
I think I think scripted is like literally like here's what you're.
This is what you
This
guys
is
say.
what's happening today.
Yeah,
You're gonna get mad. You're gonna get da da da. There's definitely some like, hey, can you guys talk about X? Like sometimes that happens. Like, okay, hey guys, we got 30 minutes. Why don't you guys start talking about who you might want to put on the block this week, right? We don't really do that even that much on our show, but there's a lot of that. There's definitely a lot of that in unscripted TV.
Yeah.
Moving the story along, like we're running out of time, or like, hey guys, like, you don't want to film two people like on an unscripted show talking about the presidential race that will be, first of all, politics, but also that by the time this airs will be over and nobody will care about. Like, we can't talk about anything too current. So it's like, what do we actually care here? And if everyone's sitting around listening to these conversations and they get boring sometimes,
everyone's like doom scrolling. You're like, just stop right now. We're gonna talk about this. Yeah, okay, I get it.
I have heard rumors of shows that were more scripted than others. I mean, the Duck Dynasty's later admitted to having scripts and sort of
easy.
was kind of themselves, but themselves scripted in scenarios. They knew the beginning, middle, and end, but then within the thing, they were sort of improving as themselves. It's like a weird mix, right? Like it's not totally Curb Your Enthusiasm, but sort of like that, based on the real lives and things they do. But I have heard a few shows that were like, I heard one time that an old MTV show had like people who weren't really dating on the show, and I was like, what? That's crazy. Like, to me,
that's wild.
That's the kind of stuff that, like, people find that out, and then why would they even watch our genre at all if they felt like it was all...
Yeah, you don't want to devalue what, if you're real behind it.
Might as well have good actors making fake scenes, instead of, like, people who can't act.
Well, I thought about that, too, from an acting level. I think that, like, in the earlier stages when reality TV was coming out, actors were maybe told, like, don't go on reality TV. It could destroy your career. And then all of a sudden you start finding out people on reality TV are now getting movie deals as long as they can really promote their brand. So then I feel like then actors were more apt to like, oh, well then if it can help my acting career, let me see if I can get into this and then maybe try to fool casting, which I thought was interesting because you mentioned like if someone was coming on as couples, you tried to actually vet that they are a real couple. And that their actual relationship is real.
We had tests to try to catch them to see if they were pretending. And honestly, if they passed my test and I found out later they weren't, then I wasn't that mad because I'm like, well, we tried. Like, what can we do? You sold it, so that's great. Like, I tried my best. I was being authentic in what I was doing. So I think, I think that was. Definitely, people were always surprised to hear that we my friends were on that. They were a fake couple. Yeah, we did not know that. That's great.
Neither did the viewer, apparently, right? So if they played it off the whole time, then water under the bridge, and you guys gave some entertainment, and it wasn't your fault they were lying.
It was not my fault. In fact, my wife's cousin, Stacy, was one of those people that I had on Change of Heart. She went on with a friend. They were pretending they were together, and they both went on dates, and their dates got... my wife's cousin got wild on her date, and I was there filming the date. She got real drunk. She ended up getting real frisky on camera in a way that was crazy. And it was crazy because, like, she actually, like, was 3 years older than me, but, like, went to Syracuse. We had a lot in common with her. I had a lot of people that I had nothing in common with, from... like the Jersey Shore that would go on the show and be a lot more tame. And then this person, I didn't judge her. I thought she was having a great time. It was pretty crazy, wild. Years later on my first date with my wife and talking about what I was doing, and I was like, oh, I worked on this show, Change of Heart. She's like, my cousin was on that, I think. My older cousin. I was like, is her name Stacy? Did she go to Syracuse? She's like, yeah, how did you know that? I was like, because of all the people I've ever had on that show, there's only one person I remember that probably could have been your cousin, and that was her. And I was like, funny story. And I told her, and she was like, I kind of knew that. And now Stacy's my cousin too. And every time I see her, she's like, remember that time I got frisky in the back of the car driving home? And yep, I remember that.
And you're filming? And you're having to film it? Oh, dude.
Yep. You're like, yeah, I will never forget that.
Like, Stacy,
I will not...
Stacy,
there
stop talking about this.
Calling out names in the back of the car. Her whole family knows this now, so I'm not. That's
hilarious. Did you air that footage?
Most of it's like her falling on the beach and them making out, and they took off their clothes and ran into the ocean at the Jersey Shore.
Okay.
All right.
Some stuff in the car, but then we put the camera away because I did not try to.
But you aired some stuff that maybe her parents wouldn't be so proud of.
Yeah. I would always be like, please give me a natural out. My bosses were a little bit like, follow the action, and then we can figure out what we put later. And one time somebody went into a bathroom stall, and I followed them in, and I was like, they're going to be like, why'd you stop? So I, like, put the camera under the stall, and the guy put his hand back like this and pushed my camera out, and I was like, okay, that's my... Now you just imagine what happens, and you imagine it's bad.
Dude, that's
my natural out point.
That's great. So, that's a great segue.
I know. I remember your boss is just follow the action.
Yeah,
follow
the
Twitter.
Oh man.
That show like was so like reliant on somebody like having this great night and like cheating on their partner and talking crap about them that they would like you. It was a different time, but you'd come back and be like, "You get to make out, you get to make out," and if you're like, "No," you felt like you failed, and so it was like so weird. And I did like so many dates and producing either cameraman or producer of dates, and I came up with a couple methods that made my job easier and made me feel less sleazy about it. Number one. It was in New York at the time. We'd get in the cab and they go, "What are we doing tonight?" Because they would never know what they were doing on a date. And I go, "Well, we're going to go to this. We're going to go, hit baseballs at the park, at the, batting cages. We're going to go out to dinner at La Cirque. And then we're going to go to this club and you guys are going to make out and I'm going to go home afterwards." And they'd be like, "Ha, ha, ha." And I'm like, "Just kidding." Or am I? And just like make a joke of it. And then a lot of times the guys would be like, "Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to make a move." I'd be like, "Just tell them that you think the producers want us to make out. That could be your line." And that would work. Like, "I think they're wanting us to make out." And then they're all like, "Man, I wish I had you in my real life. I could just blame it." Like, who doesn't want to blame it on someone like
best wingman ever?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Hey, I'm doing them a favor, not you.
Hey,
Those different times. You can't do anything like that now. You can't. I think if you made anybody do anything like that, you'd be in big trouble these days. I think the world has greatly changed you don't want to ever be, now we're super the opposite with everything, making sure nobody's ever in an uncomfortable situation. I worked even not too long ago. I did a show. Now it's probably like 10, 15 years ago. But I remember from like, reality TV coming up, like Bret Michaels, like how crazy sexy can it be? To the point where everybody started getting scared about getting sued and, we had to do STD checks and all this kind of things. And sometimes it was like extensive STD checks. And I remember one show, they didn't want to pay for these. Sometimes it was like, we don't do all the checks, but we warn everybody and they sign something. "Hey, you're an adult, sign this thing. Anything that you do sexually is on you. You're assuming risks like you'd normally do in normal life. Get it? Good." I worked at another place where they didn't feel comfortable about doing that. So they were just like, they're not allowed to have sex. No sex allowed on this show, but it is a dating show. And we did have a night where they like went on an overnight and slept in a room together. So it was like, "Hey, you two kids, I'm not in here with a camera, but you guys are staying in this place together by yourselves. Don't have any sex. Remember, you signed something that said you can't have sex. Goodbye." And I was like, how ridiculous is that? I'm telling adults not to do things. Yeah. And it's crazy, but it's the same thing these days because of all the craziness with alcohol, which is, there's been a lot of bad things that have happened over the years with alcohol. And now on these shows, we have to count their consumption. We got to, I definitely think we have a job if you see something sketchy happening, something bad, something where someone's super drunk or in a compromised position. Nobody sits around anymore and doesn't do anything, right? So if you're sitting there in a control room watching it, you sure as hell should go in there and stop it. But to be extra safe, we have to count drinks for adults that we're documenting, which now, like, maybe that's where some of the reality breaks, where you're like, "You guys, we've been taking notes. You've already had 2 in the last 2 hours. You have to take a pause." And they're like, "If I was home by myself, I would have had 4, right?" Like, we're not, like, it came from a time where people used to think, like, reality TV, we're giving people all this alcohol so they get crazy. Now we're taking it away. And you're telling adults, some who might be older than you, like, "You can't have another drink tonight." Like,
so there's like the liability, the nanny state has come in and kind of curbed some of that previous, fun and kind of free will that was on there, it sounds like. And I mean, do you already feel like the heyday of producing at least has passed? I think like it's just a different time and different focusing and different. I think it's evolved too. I think we've seen a lot of crazy fights, sexual crazy stuff, and it's like not as interesting now that we've seen so much of it throughout the years and on these shows. The real world was buck wild, and I think we just have to be better and more creative and different. But I think that there definitely rules have gotten a lot tighter as people are trying to
they're worried about liability and getting sued or shows getting taken off the air. I have had, there's been situations where people had, there was that documentary on Netflix recently about America's Next Top Model, and they found these guys in Europe that hung out with the models, and there was a lot of drinking, and somebody cheated on their boyfriend and basically was like super drunk and felt like she was taken advantage of, and nobody wants that these days. So I think people are very cautious of things like that, but it's like, now we're super, super safe, where it's like we're telling adults, like, you can't do this because we're liable for you, which I'm not saying that's wrong and we shouldn't be doing that, because we kind of need to now, I guess, and we have to be more creative around it. But it's like very surprising. It's not easy as an adult talking to another adult to be like, you cannot do this. I'm not allowing you to do this. I'm not your boss. I'm just a guy making a TV show that you sign up for. These people are not employees legally, right? But they have signed contracts that say they'll abide by certain rules, but they're not employees.
You can make the argument, though, as well, that you see this stuff, like crazy stuff happening on social media all the time, and there's no like regulation on that, nor do I think that there really should be regulation on it. It's like something happened and you post it. It's like, the whole. I'm not a big fan of censorship, and I'm glad we live in the United States because of that. Putting something in front of somebody or forcing them to do something, that's going above board or above the level that you should. But when it comes to like getting some content that, like my friend getting drunk and driving his car into a pond, like that's funny. That's post-worthy.
That's country humor.
That's country humor
on the social media. Yeah. But when you're like representing a big corporation like NBCU, it's way different.
They're clamping down on that stuff because they don't want. Well, where there's money, there's lawsuits, man. That's the problem. That's the society we live in.
Yeah, I remember. I had some experience back in the day. I was like on the first episode of Hell's Kitchen, and I remember like being in that specifically, and the beers were flowing. They had Heineken. I just knew that for that, and it was just like Heineken after Heineken after Heineken. But they also had wine and champagne. They were just pushing that stuff back in the day, and this was like early 2000s, right? So or mid 2000. Yeah, I actually remember that, like, my ex I was with, she really took it, like, off the rails, because they would come over and they'd be like, okay, here's the situation. You're going to get this dish. It's, like, wrong. And, create ruckus. Like, go ahead. Let it flow. Get crazy. And I feel like she's got some drinks in her. And then so I was just like, oh, okay, cool. And, like, I'm really a thespian at heart, dude. I'm like, okay, yeah, this acting and stuff. But she's not. So, like, she surprised me because they came over and I was just like, I can't believe this is wrong. Like, you ruined her birthday. And then she like stood up and was crying, just eyeliner, just like, I turned around to even recognize her blonde fucking hair. Like, she just stuck her fingers in a fucking socket and was just like, you ruined my birthday. I was like, no. I think you're at a 10. Dude, I think they wanted more of like a 7. Like, we gotta.
Who was this?
You're going method. I'm not mentioning.
Dude, you're going to tell me
next time you guys got in a fight, you're like, oh, I see where.
I don't want to put
it on. Yeah.
And then they broke up.
Yeah. No, but I remember. But the last part of it is for me, because it's, again, at the time it was like, this whole thing, is reality TV good for actors to kind of be mingling it, could destroy your career. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to air. What's going to happen? It's going to be kind of embarrassing because people are going to see me and they're going to say like, this is real, because I had to follow her. Yeah. So then I had to stand up and be like, how dare you? And like, because like, I always say, yes, I'm a true improver.
Yeah,
and
you gotta go. And yes,
but so then I'm having regrets. And then so I was actually happy because like the episode just had me say one line. I said, I was out there being like, I'll have the Caesar salad. And instead they had like a group of these cougars that took it way like my ex was like on a 10. They were like on a 20. They like they went over all the way to Gordon Ramsay, like in the kitchen, and we're like banging. You can like see it, whatever. And they were going more crazy, so they chose that. And then I never even got the other one. They never.
Oh, you never even saw your.
God,
you want your airtime, you got to really.
You gotta step it up, Chris.
Be memorable, I guess.
They're like, nah, he's boring.
So, but I mean, so like going back to that like that stuff and where we're at now in the world of like what you can view anytime, anywhere. Like, how has social media in your world kind of changed the way that you even go about kind of viewing what the content is that you're hoping to get? Like, do you guys care about short form stuff and short clips, or those are just going to come naturally so that you got some TikTok content, or is there a little more orchestration behind it?
Those clips are like, we're hoping that that's what drives people to come watch the series. So it is like the clippable moments and the network putting on stuff online, or our cast like sharing things, especially like with the House of Villains, where we have casts who have a lot of followers. Tom Sandoval posts something and people who follow him are like, oh, what's that? I want to go check out that show. So definitely think about that in terms of promotion. I mean, that's like the whole world right now, right? Like, it's like nobody watches SNL. They see the clip, they watch the sketch online, or Jimmy Fallon, like, they don't watch the whole Tonight Show. They watch the part that they're supposed to see, the best part of the interview, that all of that. And maybe some people come to the show, but it also can be monetized through NBC.com, or, they make money that way too. So that definitely helps. Social media is changing everything, and
is that your biggest way of advertising?
This day, a lot of stuff, especially with Peacock, they use a lot of like word of mouth, grassroots type stuff. I'm old school. Like season 1, we had tons of billboards, and we were on buses and bus stops. We were in Times Square. And to me, that's like, yes, look, we've arrived. They're really putting everything in the show, but it doesn't translate as well as you'd think compared to the social media, the word of mouth that spreads through social media.
Like,
that comes across everything.
One amazing 15-second clip can get you more attention for a few dollars than, a couple $100,000 in billboards, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's permeated to everything. You talk about like scripted, but I've heard a lot of stories like when they cast scripted shows, they ask how many followers people have, because they're like, I want to have, ideally this person brings in new viewers. They can promote it. They can get people to watch it. My wife just wrote a book, and when she was shopping it around, they were like, how many social media followers do you have? Because it's hard to get a book off, and the more social media followers you have, the better chance you are. So, I mean, it's weird these days. Like, I think of it as a producer, like, I don't love to like show a lot of what I do behind the scenes, or like, yeah, look, I'm hanging out with Tom Sandoval. But like in today's world, like having a social media presence, no matter who you are, especially in entertainment, is never going to be a bad thing to some degree. And I think it's just becoming more and more part of the world where everybody sort of becomes a brand to some degree. You're always kind of branding yourself. I think that's just the world we live in now. And I think I'm a little too late to like become a full-on influencer. But there are people, producers in my industry who came up like, oh, that's the producer from The Bachelor who's always with The Bachelor people, and all The Bachelor people started following them. I like tweeted or shared on Instagram a clip from my show of Tom Sandoval doing something really funny, scripted. Like we don't script the show, but we do little scripted fun bits that play on their personalities or something that's happening on the show, that when you're watching the show. It's like for like two people are if I see two people who have like a really unexpected friendship, I'll be like, yo, I want to shoot a ridiculous montage with you guys, like sharing breakfast and like coming out of the closet wearing the same clothes. And then they're totally participant. So there was one where Tom Sandoval has a crazy beauty routine in the morning. We filmed his beauty routine, and I had him narrate it like Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. And to the point where we showed the script, we cut back to one point, he's holding the script in his hands, and he's like reading something. He's like, about exfoliating with some product, and he's like, no, that doesn't exfoliate. And it's so funny, we kept it in him correcting us. I shared that clip, and I tagged him because I was hoping that it would make it so that it would make it him, all he would have to do is share what I tagged him in, instead of having to like download the asset and put it on social media himself. And he shared it, and I have like it has like 150,000 views, and it's like from my account, and all these likes and comments. I'm like, whoa, this is the most closest to, like, is this what it feels like to go viral? Like,
Dude, you have arrived, dude.
I know, and I'm like, man, if I did this like from the beginning of my career and did it with everybody, like, maybe I could, be getting sponsored by now. And I don't know, is that what I'd want to be doing? I don't know. If I could have gotten ahead of all of this, because our industry is, a big thing is like, we're competing with social media now. Young kids don't watch TV anymore, and all advertisers and they're the networks who get advertisers on board. Have always thought years ago, it was like millennials like this, and I'm like, I'm a very end of Gen X. So I was like, I'm tired of hearing millennials, and then all of a sudden they start talking about Gen Z, and now sometimes they even mention Gen Alpha, and so they're always worried about the next generation, even though they're not buying as much now. It's just, how do we start appealing to the next generation so we get advertisers, because that's what advertisers want. They're finding now that they're not even watching TV. All the advertising money, as you probably know, a lot of it has gone to social media. So we are competing with social media, and it's hard to compete, right? Like, I always wonder, if I was, 22 years old right now, would I just take my ideas and just put them out myself? And would that work? I'm not, only with so much I can do now. I think at my age, I'm less interesting. But
it's almost like, I mean, none of us were in the generation where it was like already hardwired into our systems. Like, all these young people, it's just part of their lives. Us relearning some stuff like that, like, we can learn the basics, but if you want to be good at it, you're gonna have to dedicate a lot of time to it. But I mean, I think that let the younger generation kind of, it's just funny. We're all looking at it like we looked at the 60-year-olds and the 80-year-olds, and they're looking at us like, oh, these dinosaurs, we're only in our 40s or whatever, right? So but still, it's just the progression of like age. It happens with every generation, and we bring great things to the table still.
I want to say, Dave, I think you're a legendary creator, and because this is another thing that I saw, is you're like, what you're helping create is a connection through generations. Because I thought it was interesting that you can have Gen Zers sharing memes and GIFs from I Love New York. She got the, with the shades on in bed, and it's just like, this is the vibe I have. When you want to go out, it could be kids that never saw the show. They just started when social media was booming. It was this funny picture.
They found it.
People, you're right, and then it just starts circulating. And it becomes like a top meme. Everyone knows, or like this hard thinking, and that spawns, and that comes from something. And I don't know if you ever thought something like that could just be another spawn off of a creation that you had that you took part in and making, that like would have such an impact, connecting generations, even if they've never even were there to see it. I think that's really cool.
Certainly not back then. Who even knew this was a thing? But now, you're like, back then we'd be like, something crazy would happen in the house, and we'd be like, I'd come home and tell my roommates, like, when I was working on I Love New York, like, yo, tonight's gonna be on The Soup. That was the version of going viral.
Tonight's gonna be on The Soup. Dude, I forgot about that.
A lot of times I was right. Like, it would be like, ooh, it must be so fun to come home one night and know months later when it finally airs that, like, and then, I was right. I knew that moment would make The Soup. That was crazy. I just lived it.
Yeah, and now you got Joel host.
Yeah, now I have Joel. It's a full circle. I mean, I tell him about that. We talk about that stuff all the time.
He was on The Soup.
Yeah, which I think he's like the perfect host for House of Villains, because I just Community and Animal Control. Like, I like his acting, but he's like perfect for that. But I do have to ask, because I wanted have you ever had a cast member totally derail production though? Because I feel like you're always looking for this wildness, but was there ever someone that was just too much and it's just like totally exploded?
Yeah, I mean, there's small, not like complete. Yes, it happens a lot in terms of like in the moment, and we as producers have to come in and like, fix it and make things better. I mean, so there's definitely moments where someone's making a stink, or they thought they weren't treated well, and we got to sit there and time out, talk to them, show them a tape, rewind, like you've seen, like on some of the shows, they on House of Villains season 1, and Omarosa said she got hit by a tamarine, and we played it and we rewound it. You see a producer in there talking to her saying, why don't you stay over here and you stay over there? Are we cool to proceed? Like, things like that happen a lot. It doesn't totally derail production. You have moments like that. You have moments like, I worked on a Bad Girls dating show where, someone's been, this is back in the day, she's drinking too much Jack Daniels. We know she's going to get elimination's going to be a disaster because she's not going to be able to carry herself through it, and having to go in there and being like, all the people being like, all the talent, we have talent managers and people who walk in there like, I've asked her to stop. She won't give me the bottle, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
truly a bad girl.
All right, guys, come on.
The producer's like, we're going to weekend at Bernie's this one.
Yeah, it's like,
come out with
I saw them talking to this bad girl like, hey, can you give me the bottle, please? We're trying. And she wasn't, and I just walk in and I go, yo, she's sitting there with a bottle of Jack, drinking out of the bottle. And I go, yo, Jim Morrison, give me the damn bottle. And she was like, okay, and just handed it over right away. And I was like,
dude, you gotta treat them like Gen Z,
But I think also like the most derailed a production ever had was after the production, where the winner of my show, I Love Money season 3, went home and murdered his wife. That was the bad. I Love Money season 3, the winner is a guy named Ryan Jenkins, who was on Megan Wants a Millionaire with Megan Hauserman from Rock of Love. And I Love Money was all the best people from those shows. And we shot season 3 and 4 back to back in Mexico. And they didn't have a lot of guys. They only had the guys from I Love New York. So they were excited to get more guys from Daisy of Love and Megan Wants a Millionaire to keep fueling the pipeline. So we shot, when we started shooting, that show hadn't even aired. So we had cast members on that nobody knew yet. But they had, having made the show, they were like, these guys are going to be great on that show, so then they'll be all-stars for your show, for I Love Money. But at that point, like, we didn't know anything about them. If you hadn't worked on that show, you wouldn't know anything about them. So all these guys show up, and one of them was from Megan Wants a Millionaire, and I think he came in, like, 3rd place on that show. He came into our show. He won almost so many challenges, like, ran away with the show, did so well. Went home, said goodbye to him in the morning, and we were gearing up to shoot another season, and I got a thing, like, someone sent me from TMZ that he had murdered his wife and was on the lam, and then another one that they had found him and he had taken his own life. And we were like, should we shoot the next season? I mean, apparently she had been cheating on him the whole time he was shooting our show. He came back, caught her, murdered her. There's been crime docs about it, but the network pulled the season. It never aired, never hit the light of day. We
what a waste.
Still shot the next season and ended up the shirt said I Love Money 4. They had to in post paint out all the 4s, and they ended up airing it a year later, not promoting it 10. It still did well, but a lot of that changed the background procedures for how they do reality shows, and the psych tests got a little bit more intense. And, now intense psych background, now if you go home and murder your wife when the show's over, we can say at least a psychologist evaluated you. They had no criminal record, no history of violence in the past. We can't control what they do when they leave. They probably still pull the show, right? That stuff happens all the time still. There was the whole Bachelorette controversy recently, that video surfaced. So all we can do is do our best job of trying to prevent things like that.
That's wild. Well, thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah.
I did want to do maybe 2 more things, but the rapid fire round is something we always do.
Okay.
Just off the cuff, what you think after you hear each one of these. Well, I'm just going to throw them out there because you're going to answer them honestly. And I think that you're going to be a bit self-indulgent. All right, best reality show of all time.
House of Villains, but it's my favorite show I've ever worked on. But Survivor, probably, for real. In cultural relevance, the fact that it keeps going. It's a solid type format that everybody's tried to copy over and over again.
All right. Current most underrated show.
The current most underrated show, unscripted?
Yes, unscripted. Yeah.
Squid Game's The Challenge. I think that show's incredible.
Okay. All right.
The scale of it is incredible. I just think they did such a great job, and I like the scripted show, but I think this does something even more spectacular that, you know, with the real people and the real stories that you get to know, that is even more interested. And no, you don't get killed if you get eliminated. They made the prize so high at $4.3 million that when you get that close and you lose, it feels like you could see the people feel like they just died a little bit because they knew they were this close to $4.3 million.
We're all sick fucks. All right. I think I know the answer to this one. Villain or hero?
Me?
Yeah. No. I mean, no, not you personally. No. What your preference? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Much more interesting.
Yeah.
Look, conflict drives story, right? That's any story that you read, any movie has some sort of conflict. You need something to make a story happen. Otherwise, you don't have a story.
And if I may, you made a great point. I just want to say again about villains, and I thought about it, was that that on screen, they may be called quote unquote villains, but they're also people that speak with conviction. They're not hiding who they are. They tend to be the people that this is who I am. I'm giving it to you, as opposed to someone that may be playing the hero, but behind the scenes are giving you your probably biggest headache.
Chris is over here trying to justify his personality.
Yeah, you're describing yourself as a friend.
I mean, they speak with conviction.
Yeah.
What?
A lot of times when I'm interviewing these people, they go, "Yeah, my dumbass cast members didn't like me, but the producers loved me."
Yeah.
You know. And what I've learned is you want to make sure the producers like these villains and they're not really, really villains off camera, because that will make your production a lot harder. So the ones that producers like are the villains. We like the fun villains, the funny villains, not the awful people villains.
The Cruella de Vil.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
CJ.
Darth Vader. Right?
All right, a show that
He's
you
fun.
wish a show that you wish you created.
Well, I wouldn't say Survivor because that's so far back in the day. I thought Love is Blind is kind of, hey, it's done so well, and I thought that was such a nice evolution of things. I don't know if it's like tonally my favorite kind of show, but I'll say like right now that, oh no, I have a better answer. Let me start again.
Yeah.
Too Hot to Handle. Have you seen Too Hot to Handle?
I actually have.
Wait, can you just bring me up to speed on Too Hot to Handle?
It's a Netflix dating show where they take like these really, really hot people who are like super sexually charged and horny, and on the first day they find out they can win money if they don't kiss or fool around or play with themselves. And I think it's so genius and so hilariously crazy to watch these people like struggle with this. It is the first I think there was like 6 seasons. I think by sixth season it was like, okay, you can only do this so many times, but pretty genius, and it's super funny, and they do take it very tongue in cheek.
I think I saw 2 episodes with Rachel, and then we like just fell off. But like, it is pretty wild. Like, it's okay.
I think it's a real experiment, even though it sounds super ridiculous, and it's like, in a weird way, it's like all these shows like that are sexually like very like obvious out there, like maybe the ones where people are restraining is a little bit more tantalizing to viewers. And I'm not watching it to be tantalized, but I also think it's just like kind of funny and sexy. It has a little bit of everything, and it's super, maybe that's my answer to underrated as well. So let me say I'll make Squid Games the challenge because that's where the money's at. And Too Hot to Handle the underrated.
This guy, yeah, dude.
I like
and I was
it.
imagining what it might be like a producer on Too Hot to Handle. You know, you're like, please, no, don't do that right now. Don't touch me. Don't touch. Well, I don't. It's kind of nice. This is.
You lose money if you do. So I don't know if the producers like.
Okay.
And then they have ways to earn it back. So it's sort of like funny if you come in and you lose all the money out of the pot and everyone's mad at you early on, you can redeem yourself and then win the whole show. It's kind of ridiculous, but you kind of have to sign up for that ride. But I'm always like, yeah, just go on, hook up, lose all the money, everyone will be mad at you, and then have a redemption arc, and you win the whole prize, and get to hook up with all the girls and stuff.
That's wild.
There's actually a couple from that show that is married and has like a baby and maybe another one on the way. So, hey, the experiment worked for at least one
somebody, man. They knew the worst sides of themselves, maybe, or the wildest sides of themselves, and they fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Their like theme is that if you take that out of the equation, you can maybe find real, genuine connections, and it worked for somebody.
Yep, absolutely. Actually, I think that's a good way to describe it. What was the most chaotic cast you ever worked with, if you can say?
The cast of Rock of Love, the Rock of Love girls. They were very wild, very, that's what, again, they drank a lot, they partied hard, they were like rock star girls, most of them were strippers, and also there was one guy for like 20 very horny girls that would just be like drunk and like hitting on the cameraman and like grabbing the camera guys and producers like, hey you, and it was like a wild time. I mean, that show was such a crazy time and people love it, and it's because that cast is so wild and over the top.
All right. Well, man, you had some great answers for the rapid fire round, and thank you for those. Really well thought out. All right, so this is one I don't even know if we should ask, but pitching a Napa Valley reality TV show, winemaker wars, bringing winemakers from all these different ideologies together.
Yeah, like you have like a non-interventionist winemaker, then you have actually just your normal winemaker, and then you have like one guy that's just like, no, just let the grapes fall, and then the other winemaker's like, nah, dude, the bricks are like,
he's on a bullhorn. He's like, stop being a little bitch in the vineyard.
He's like,
burying cow horns doesn't do anything for quality, idiot.
You weren't up this morning for great meditation, and that's what's gonna make them grow right. And he's just like, what? So anyways, I feel like, I got all sweaty. My heart was beating. Like, I felt like I was pitching over Delos.
Imagine, you're kind of, that's what I do. I feel like I'm constantly putting myself out there, and you're like excited, and someone's like, that's the crap all over your ideas. That's my jobs all day.
Hey, Dave, you don't need to crap all over ideas.
Yeah,
all right.
We'll still hear that. But there's also the other thing is right here is a star. He's always ready.
No, dude, don't pitch me.
No, you wanted me to. Remember, you were telling me before we came on. Oh, sorry, you're gonna act like you don't. Sorry,
he's playing hard to get.
Sorry, he's playing hard to get. But anyways,
it's Dave's first rodeo.
He's very charming. He's a TikTok influencer. He's a rebel of the wine industry, and
I got to know the stories and the family.
Fifth generation winemaker. I mean, he's rocking it. He's got all of it.
You were embarrassing.
Do you still want to bet on me? I'm plus.
Well, sold.
I'm plus 1,200 in the bet now. Actually, I just went up.
We'll have to do some interviews, with your family and make sure everyone's equally. I mean, that's the problem. Like, everybody around you has to be. It's so hard to get a docuseries. But I think they're in the world, it would be all care. It would be like the backdrop of the story. Like, Napa Valley is an interesting place, right? There's so many Real Housewives now of Salt Lake City, but like. I think they've become very interested because they're like the Mormon thing, and then there's the Real Housewives of Rhode Island just came out, and people really like it, and they're really like, they have those accents, and they're real like Jersey-ish. So I think, and they all have crazy stories. So
hey, look, I'll bring it to step one of asking my entire family about it, as long as I get access to the psychological evaluations.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
We might have to not.
You know what?
I don't even think the cast members themselves know. We're just like, sorry, we went another direction. I don't know. We'll see. That's a whole legal team that is done separately, and they have their thing. And someone doesn't make a show because of psych evaluations. We're like, why? What happened? They're like, we can't tell you. Like, that's still private. It's just all you know. You're like, what? That person didn't pass the psych evaluation? What? They seem so normal. And you never get an explanation because you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
So you just find out you lost your cast member.
Yeah.
And it's literally like they know they're getting a psych evaluation for a reality show. So it's like, even if you are crazy, you could just pretend to be not. But they must just be like, I don't know what they're saying. I've never been in one. I don't know what they're like. They're one-on-one with a psychologist. And yeah.
I
That's fine.
got
I
a
would love
question
to
for
know.
Joe. Which family member do you think wouldn't pass the psych now?
Wouldn't pass the psych eval. Ooh, man. I'm gonna say either my brother or my sister, Erin.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Erin. What? Yeah, because she's trying to be a psychologist. So
Yeah.
she's already hiding shit. You
Yeah.
know? And I hope she hears this because I had unfinished business with her. I was just with her in Knoxville, and I'm like,
See, okay, you know what? Never mind. I should have asked.
all right, well, hey,
Sorry, Dave. Sorry to bring you in on the family.
All right, no worries.
Dave, I
Love
want
it.
Dave, I want to say thank you again for taking the time to talk to us, share your
Yeah, thanks
story.
for having me.
Man, really entertaining. I think people are going to love this.
Yeah.
And I learned tons of stuff. I mean, you know, great information, but just great stories. So thank you again. And looking forward to meeting up in sometime in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you
Yeah.
for keeping us just entertained like for years and years. And
Yeah.
I look
Thank
forward
you.
to all the rest.
And thank you for keeping me drunk. That's how I get through it. Because I'm not on a show. I can drink as much as I want.
All right, man. Thanks, Dave.
All right, thank you.